Hi guys, I am back in my garage as you can see to do another talking slash yapping video. I literally filmed this in my room yesterday and I did not like the way I talk, and I don't know, I think when I sit down and talk, these videos are the most hard to edit and film because I don't know, there's just when I rewatch it, it's so hard to watch myself talking, and I hate editing these videos because I have to listen to myself talk. But basically in this video I am going to be talking about, I think this is a very common saying and common world known phrase, but hurt people, and I think for the longest time I've been a prime believer in this, but not as a way to excuse or justify any wrongdoings. I think it's a very true statement though, because if someone is brought up with such negativity and hatred and all they've endured is hurt and all they received is hurt, that's the only thing that they can give and that they want to give. Because I think in a lot of people's minds, yes, you can always choose to break the generational cycle or trauma, and you can be the end. You can choose kindness, you can choose to give positivity, but even though if that choice is there and known, I think it's hard to not be tempted by the choice to not be kind and just pass along and keep passing along the hurt, even if it's to innocent people. Because I think there's also kind of a notion that if I were to be treated unjustly, then you kind of want to give it to others because it's in your mind not fair that you endured all these negative experiences, but so why should I be the only one who endured these negative experiences? And then you continue to pass it on to other people because in your mind it's unjust if you're the only one who endured them. So I don't know if that makes sense. I think I kind of lost myself there too, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that especially in times where you kind of perceive it's almost like the world versus you, in those times where you feel like you have nothing, no one, and you're just filled in a state of loneliness, I think it's so much easier and increases your chance to obviously act on impulses and emotion because that's all you have. And in those times it's really easy to make the wrong choice and make friends and befriend the wrong people, because if you weren't going through what you're going through, or if you weren't feeling a desperation of loneliness or desperation to be seen or heard, and if you didn't feel like all you have is yourself and your emotions, then you probably wouldn't be friends with those people. The only reason why you're justifying becoming friends with those people, and even if you know they're wrong for you and they're not the people for you, you try to justify that they are because you're trying to hold on and grasp to something, to prove that you do have something and to fill that void and distract yourself from that state of loneliness or whatever you're going through, if that makes sense. And personally, I don't know, I'm explaining it in a way how I perceive it and feel, because in my mind, it's like substance and drug abuse too. You get very addicted because you want to fill the void, even though you know it's wrong for you. You're gonna continue to do it because it distracts you and it fills the void, and sometimes that's all you have. I don't know if that makes sense, but basically I think you're so much more prone to obviously act on wrong decisions, make friends with the wrong people, make wrong choices, and hurt other people. So another big correlation I see is serial killers, because a lot of them, if you look into the background, they come from very heavy abuse, neglect, and trauma from their childhood. So it's almost like they're set up to go into the world and commit these heavy crimes and project what they want to be seen as through these crimes, and it serves as an outlet for them to actually like make a statement and let the anger out. Because if all they've been through was hurt and all they got was hurt, then I think the crimes they commit is an outlet. And I'm not trying to justify or defend, because there's no way these crimes are justifiable or defendable, but it definitely serves as a reason, especially because not only do they come out from environments of trauma, but then when they step into the real world, a lot of them develop, you know, like psychosis or schizophrenia, and they develop mental disorders because of the traumas they come from and endured. But instead of seeing that as something to fix, I think society lacks a lot of empathy for these individuals and tends to alienize them because they're labeled as crazy or dangerous. But that only really, in reality, only makes it worse for them, because not only are they not being seen and heard, it's almost like the world is against them. And all these labels of being dangerous, all these labels of just trying to villainize them, I think pushes them more into a narrative to become the labels that everyone is naming them. It's almost like, okay, like if I'm gonna be called all these things, then why not like just push myself into that narrative that people are trying to create for me? Because at this point it's like I can't even prove myself wrong, or prove them wrong. So I'm just gonna become what they're making me or labeling me as. I kind of see it as in that way too. So I don't know, I think society sets them up for a lot of the things they do, and I don't know, I think it's a very big lack of empathy. And instead of trying to prevent that from happening and addressing them before, it's only that their names are said and heard when they go on to commit these crimes. It's only people want to like see them as human and only see them when they commit these crimes. So I think if we took action before they go on to commit the crimes, then it would definitely reduce their chances to. And not only do they, like after they do what they do and they get caught, they're put into a very traumatic system that really, again, sets them up for failure. These mental asylums and jails are full of people who are in the same, like, minded people, and being put into an environment where the same people who think the same and are going through the same things, I think that's only going to make it worse. They're going to project on one another, and then once you release them out into the real world, I see a lot of cycles of committing the same crime or committing even heavier crimes and then coming back into the jail system, going out, coming back, and it's a cycle that they can't escape. So I also think that the system does really set them up for failure. Instead of trying to fix their problems, they only tend to like push out even worse, like make a person feel worse, push them out into the world, only for them to just keep on doing the same thing and over again. So I don't know, I think in a lot that people in society kind of quickly forget about the reasonings and the narratives that we push forward, but we're very easy to cast the blame. I don't know, these are my thoughts. And yeah, so to conclude, I really want to say that obviously there's always a choice to choose to not do worse things and not to commit, like, physically, mentally hurt other people. But it is very hard to when that's literally all you've been through, and if people aren't like gonna hear you out for that, then it only pushes someone to go on to do the things that they do. So that's how I see it. That's my perspective. Thank you for listening to me. I'm sorry if this was a bunch of like, I don't even know, nonsense, but thank you for listening, and bye.